Welcome to the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie, powered in part by Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie here at the studio at DentonRadio.com. And tonight we have an awesome guest who's going to tell us all about what she does here in Denton. We have Ginger Cochran, and she is working on lots of stuff going on. Yes. And we're going to hear all about her project and what she gets her hands into here in Denton. So I usually like to open it up with getting to know you a little bit better so we can introduce you to Denton. I'm sure you have plenty of people that know you, but we want to get to know you a little bit better. So thanks for joining me, Ginger.
Thank you for having me. Really, this is a great opportunity, and I love Denton. Ever since we moved here, we've been in love with it, and we really have no desire to be anywhere else.
That's awesome.
It's really nice here. We love it, and our kids love it too.
You're like, enough said. That's it.
Yep.
I'm never moving from Denton. So how did you get here?
Well, let's see. Well, I actually grew up in Waco, Texas, and my family moved back up to Louisville, like the DFW area, when I was 16. And when I met my husband, we lived, we bought our first home in Lake Dallas, which is not far from Denton. It's just down the highway. And when we were ready for a larger home, we decided to look around, and we knew that we wanted to kind of stay in this area. We didn't want to go too far, and all the planets aligned, and we found a really great home that fit all of our needs, and it was right here in Denton. So it really worked out perfectly.
Nice. And you've been enjoying the comforts of your home and your town ever since.
Yes. Shortly after we moved to Denton proper, I was able to start working from home in the arts, and was really just building my career ever since then.
Okay, so you are definitely pretty involved in the arts, and you are doing Envision Arts show and Envision Arts. And so for those of the Dentonites and beyond that don't know what that is, why don't you introduce us to what that is, how it all started, and then we can go into the details of what exactly goes on with Envision Arts on a normal basis.
Sure. Well, Envision Arts is an arts company in which we're providing opportunities for local to international artists, opportunities for exhibitions, whether it's a group or a solo exhibition, online publication with our virtual galleries, as well as publication online with our online arts and literary publication, like a magazine, awesome. Which we hope to move to print after the first of the year. So stay tuned for that.
Very cool.
Yes. And so it started really, I've been showing my work, I guess you could say somewhat professionally for, maybe the last, let's just say 10 years. And I was really having a difficult time finding some exhibit outlets that I really felt fit. You know, I was really having a hard time. Like, it was either like, Deep Ellum, Arts and Jazz Festival, and it's like, hundreds of dollars, or, or try to find a gallery representation. I mean, forget it. It's really, really tough. Those opportunities don't knock as often as one would like. And so I actually had an opportunity to show with a local artist here in Denton. This was years ago. And she was just, doing a little pop-up show in a restaurant. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I started having some ideas. And so I wanted to, have a conversation with her about it, but she wasn't having it. So I said, you know what, I think I could do something like this, just with my friends, we could do our own show, why not? And so I looked around for some spaces in Dallas, and, there was a bar and grill that a friend of mine had told me about, and he was on board. And so I started doing shows there in Dallas, and, we ended up having a lot of fun with them, but they were just little small scale, no more than, 10 of us getting together and setting up shop and hanging out. And it wasn't shortly after that I was contacted by a company based in New York. They invited me to apply for a show that they were putting together in Dallas.
Wow.
However, it was a business model that I pretty much knew right off the bat was not going to work for me. I was required to sell tickets, and if I didn't sell all the tickets, then I would have to pay like a couple
Oh,
$100s.
wow.
I as soon as they were telling me
Mm-hmm.
on the phone, because they're like, we want to interview with you, and I said, okay, and I was like, I'm really flattered, but there's no way I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't pull it off. It's not that I didn't want to. I was excited, but I just knew that it wasn't going to work for me. So fast forward a couple more months, they reached out to me again. They're like, "We're coming back. Do you want to show?" And I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, I'm really flattered that you're coming around
Again.
round two and that you like my stuff, but this is just something that I can't pull together. And she said, "All right, well." And then I had done a few more shows. I did my first little show up here in Denton, and then she reached out to me again. She says, "Hey, how about just working for us? Because we see what you've been doing, following you on Facebook and, all these little shows that you've been putting together." And I said, "Well, okay." I mean, I went to the interview and they're like, "You'll be traveling, you can work from home." And it just, it was everything that I really wanted. I'm
Wow.
like, wow, I'm going to be directing art shows, and I'm going to be working with real artists. I'm going to be mentoring people. I mean, this is really exciting. And, I get to travel. And I was just like, my time has come, it was just
Yeah.
really exciting. And it was exciting for a little, just at 2 years. And then I decided that I was, ready to go in a different direction. I wanted to start homeschooling my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided that I wanted to take some time and build my own company
Nice.
again.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And in October, it'll be a year that Envision Arts has been in business.
Wow.
And so it's been kind of a really wild ride,
Yeah.
but I've met so many amazing people, so many talented artists. If you were to ask my kids, what's mom's favorite part about her work? She loves looking at art. I
Mm-hmm.
love looking at artwork.
Yeah.
I get so inspired
It
by,
is.
and not only that, building these relationships with these people from all over the world. And they're just so thankful to
Mm-hmm.
have someone listening to them,
Absolutely.
and providing them opportunities that are really within their reach, that actually have a real impact. It's a
Yeah.
true exhibit experience. This isn't a one night
Mm-hmm.
event. It's an exhibition that lasts,
Yeah. It's not a space filler.
this is, 4 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We get gallery directors in, we get buyers and collectors in, and I think it's really been a very positive experience for a lot of people that I've worked with.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I know that, when you said you meet a lot of interesting people, I obviously do as well. I get really attached to all my guests because you watch them and you see them growing and you see everything they're involved in. And there's many times they are doing stuff that I don't even know about until we sit down and talk about it. So it's
Sure.
very enlightening to know just how much goes on in Denton and beyond. A lot of times, a lot of the artists are busy elsewhere too. It's not just Denton, but focused here. And it's just amazing the things that are happening. All these cogs are turning, and we're just this amazing town. And I really understand that whole feeling of you just meet so many amazing people. you grow bonds with them, and you see their successes, you celebrate with them, because
Absolutely.
yeah, you're so happy for them, and it's just it's a neat experience. And I would imagine that's how you're feeling as well when you
It is.
you know, somebody puts up their work with you and you see what that experience does to a person who's never had that.
Exactly.
It's a very organic feeling when you see them take that and run with it, and it's rewarding. That's the rewarding part of what you
It
would,
is.
yeah.
And it doesn't just come down to, whether someone sells a painting at my
Yes.
show. I would love for all of the pieces to sell. I really would. But unfortunately, that's just not the
Yes.
case. There's never it's all sold out type situation. So when there are sales, yes, it's a huge accomplishment, not just for me, but for the artist. But I think what I love seeing most is someone who has, exhibited with me and become part of my community and has since found opportunity branch out from that. Like I could name several artists that, they're just starting out. They haven't, really done a lot of exhibits, and because of the people that they have networked with at, the opening reception, it's opened doors for them to be involved in other, you know, shows going on. I mean, it's just, it's really, I think that as with most jobs, especially creative jobs, it's about 10% creating and like 90% networking,
Yes, it sure
And
is.
so I think that right there is solid gold for the people that I work with.
Yeah, I believe so too. And I think that part of that experience of the ones that take it in stride isn't the selling part, which is an obvious bonus, but it's the milestone of becoming the artist that you want to be. So I feel that that's so important and integral part to have them, grow with you or grow beyond what they're used to, and it gives them that inspiration when they're around so many other artists. I know when I get around other artists, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to push myself. I need to push myself, or I've never tried that. I would love to do something different that I would have never thought of, So that's always fun. So what is it like for the artist to be with you? What is the experience? 'Cause some people may be like, well, one day I want to be hanging in a gallery, but they don't know what is involved and how to get there. I mean, obviously they have to have art or something that you're
Sure. Well, one thing that I think I would like to just explain real quick is that, the spaces that I would like to say partnering with, because, I'm partnering with right now. I'm in Denton. I'm partnering with Armadillo Ale Works. I walked in there and saw a place that was just gorgeous. It's just such a beautiful building, and it's just such great people there. Such a great vibe. It's just a really great little brewery.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very homey.
It is, and so, but there was no art on the walls, and I just said, I wonder, maybe they might be interested in, doing something here, what, and I'm always like, why not? Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
So I spoke with the owner, and he was like, I explained to him what I do, that I find, these local gems that are just amazing. And, he was like, that is like exactly what I was trying to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And I said, I'm your girl.
Yep, definitely.
I can do that. And so we, it's just a mutual collaboration. And so I've dubbed the exhibit space Armadillo Art Gallery, and I direct all the art, that gets hung up there.
Nice.
Just recently, I have the same situation. I partnered with Westdale Properties in Dallas. So just I don't know, a street or two over from the heart of Deep Ellum. I've got a space there called in the Continental Lofts building. It's going to be Continental Lofts Art Gallery.
Very
And
nice.
that news just happened a week or two ago.
Congratulations.
And so, I'm really, really excited about it. So,
That's awesome.
so to have these, really beautiful spaces and to be in such really great areas of of the DFW. I mean, you've got Deep Ellum and you've got Denton. I mean, it's just it couldn't be better.
It's the cornerstone of where the creativity is happening. Obviously, right there.
Yes. So we're really excited about how things have been progressing with that, and just not only has my company progressed, but I feel like I myself am progressing. Because I have been working with Armadillo Ale Works. I want to reach out to Denton as a whole, I guess I could say, to come and experience this and build those networks. And so I've become a very oh gosh, what's the word? I'm getting a little tongue-tied here.
You're
very important contact at the Greater Denton Arts Council.
Yes.
And so their exhibitions director, Jenny Bates, has acted as juror for my stuff. And she's recently asked me to be a juror for their upcoming exhibit called 30 Under 30, which I was very excited to jury on. Such beautiful collection of work that is. And then I've also been asked to be a guest speaker in their upcoming Leadership Denton tour.
Oh, that's awesome.
Coming up. So I just feel like, all of these accomplishments that I'm making for other people, it's just coming right back and offering
opportunity for your growth as well.
Opportunities for my growth as well. So I just really couldn't be more thankful.
That's awesome. Well, shout out to Jenny. She's an awesome
yes,
person.
She's amazing. I love her.
Yes, and working with Greater Denton Arts Council, that was one of my goals this year to work, and I finally got to work with them for my Lost Poet Lounge, which we collaborated with. I did a partnership with them I believe it was last month. I don't even know because what month are we in? It goes by so fast.
I know.
It was probably last month, but it was amazing. And, just collaborating with people like that. And Armadillo, and I remember walking in there the first time and the walls were kind of bare. And then just recently, like 2 weeks ago, I walked in and I was like, wow, there's art all over the walls. So props to you because I saw that and I noticed it right off the bat.
Thank you.
And yeah, definitely. And it is a wonderful place to hang out at. And it's just cozy. And they're kind of giving it the revamp feel over there. So shout out to Revamp.
It's really, really exciting. I mean, beautiful walls, all that antique brick, but still, it's just it's a little bit sweeter when there's a super awesome painting hanging there.
Yeah. Well, props to you on that. So what else do you guys have going on as far as Envision Arts?
Well, I would encourage all the listeners to visit www.envisionartshow.com. And we've got several tabs up at the top, so you can visit our online magazine. We've got a section for current calls for art as well as our current exhibitions. So even though, say, the collection that you mentioned at Armadillo Art Gallery, that was our recent one called Common Knowledge. So for those of you that may not be in Denton or may not get a chance to go by there, you can always look at the exhibit online.
Very nice.
And so if anyone's interested in viewing any of the current calls that we have several virtual galleries, which is basically an online exhibit. And those are all themed. We have various themes. And then gallery exhibitions are going to be like we have Halcyon coming up, and that's going to be at the Continental Art Gallery. And then we also just launched today. In fact, I just launched Vibrant, which is going to be an international group exhibit for the Frisco Art Gallery in November.
Very nice.
So I'm really excited. We've got so much going on. I almost feel like I might be.
I'm like, well, you're keeping it together because I know I would be like, okay, I would be crossing all.
I told my husband, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do anything for November. I kind of want a break, and then called him today. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. And he's like,
Nice.
okay.
So let's talk about this publication. I'm really curious about that because that's a whole different, ballpark as far as you were used to getting stuff, social media, and now the publications are online. So
we live in such a great technological age. I know that, some might view it as a negative sometimes, but when it comes to
passing information.
Yes, and when it comes to promoting your business and promoting yourself, it's really cornerstone these days.
Yep.
And so in addition to, your basic social media outlets and platforms like, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, there's a lot of other opportunities available now. You've got video vlogs, and you've got zines and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. And so I knew automatically that I wanted to do something because I love poetry. I like to write poetry myself. So I knew I wanted to incorporate some sort of publication outlet that not only served visual arts but literary arts as well, with a focus on poetry because it's kind of my favorite. And so I decided that I just kind of revamped my website and added that on there, and I think that people really enjoy it. A lot of the times if I get a really great poetry submission, and I'm like, oh, I know, I got an artist submission yesterday that painting would go perfect. It like perfectly illustrates what that I feel like that poem is saying. And so it's really fun to pair stuff together like that.
Yes.
And authors and poets are just as excited to see their stuff get published. It's really exciting for them, and it's exciting for us too because it's something it's something creative that's not just visual.
Well, I absolutely love that idea because as I just mentioned, Lost Poet Lounge is my baby, and so doing that, obviously I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to her about this after the show. And then also to be able to share that with the Lost Poets and beyond, because we have several different poetry groups. But one of the things I loved about being able to do the poetry with Lost Poet Lounge is the one at Greater Denton Arts Council, we just fused dance, performance dance with poetry. So the poetry with the art is very, very, very powerful, especially because of the moods and the vibes of the painter and the poet. And it's just a very, very beautiful fusion of arts and stuff, So props to you on that as well. I'm going to definitely be checking that out. Not only checking it out, but I'm probably going to be like, hey, can I submit this?
Absolutely. I'll give you a card. You send me whatever you want. I would love to read it. Yes. I love reading it.
I absolutely love that stuff too. So who's your favorite poet by chance?
Well, I mean, I have a lot, but I'm kind of partial to Maya Angelou. I have and I found this book, I don't know, I was in high school. It's just this old vintage book.
Nice.
And I found it somewhere. I don't even remember where I got it, but I've had it for years. I've carried it everywhere. And, I like to read it when I'm kind of having a hard time, if there's something that I'm struggling with, and now it's almost kind of like a tradition. I only really open it and read when there's like something really serious going down, like something that I'm really having a hard time dealing with. And so I love that. But then, of course, and I've got a lot of really great friends that are poets. My very good friend Doug King, he's in Frisco, and he's got several books published. And so, it's just I guess it really has. I love poetry, free verse. That's my favorite to write, and probably one of my favorites to read too. Sometimes when there's so much rhyming, I'm kind of like, And then there's always Shel Silverstein. So.
Well, I will personally invite you to our next Lost Poet Lounge. I'm going to take that opportunity now.
I wouldn't miss it.
So thank you for sharing that with us online and making it available to us. So I'll definitely be sharing that with my personal friends and the group and whatnot.
Please do.
So where can they find all the information they would need to find if they were interested in joining you on a gallery venture, if they wanted to submit poetry or even be featured somehow?
Yes, all of the information is found online on the website. So again, envisionartshow.com, and there will be a link that says calls for art. And when you kind of hover over that, there will be a menu
Okay.
where you can see current calls for visual arts, exhibition proposals, which is if we have artists out there that are interested in a solo exhibition opportunity, they can submit a proposal. And then also the third one on there is to submit for the magazine, and that's going to have all the information in the the application form for you to fill out so that you can get your information to us.
Okay, and then you did say there was a on social media that it's, what does it go by under Instagram versus Facebook?
Yes, Facebook is just Envision Arts.
Okay.
Envision, like I envision a dream or whatever, and then Arts with an S. Instagram is at Envision Art Show.
Okay, make sure we get that out there. You guys check it out. Go look up all her stuff, and I'm sure she's going to have a calendar of some sort of events or, a running page of what's going on with you guys. And
yes, all of the information of what we're up to, and all of our artists that we're promoting, you'll be able to see all of that on the Facebook page, as well as the calls for art. If you're wondering what we have planned, that's where you're going to find it.
Well, we'll definitely be sharing that link out into the Denton world and beyond. So,
thank you.
Ginger, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
I had a great time. This is amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and consider yourself invited back. I mean,
Yay.
I would love to have you again, and I know as people progress, different things go on. So we're always willing to share what's going on with all the guests and artists, and as time goes by. Goes by so quickly. So you guys, thank you so much again for joining us here on the Denton Vibe with Diva Girl Ellie. We will see you next week.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton. Do you love live music? If so, make Denton, Texas your next vacation. Find more information at discoverdenton.com.